I think aggression and the way Kohli goes about it is, there's definitely a place for it in the game. He's quite foul-mouthed. Kohli's still got to realise that he is an inspiration to other young players. And I think you're right. You know, Indian players must give it back. No, I don't think it's anything personal. You know, I just think that if you look at the different players, the likes of Williamson, Root, they just go about their cricket a different way. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think aggression and the way Kohli goes about it is, there's definitely a place for it in the game. I'm just talking about his verbals out there. He's quite foul-mouthed. I think it's, you know, I think that's just something I see. I think he's quite petulant. It's not for everyone, you know. You know, I'm a bigger fan of quietly going about it, being strong and being aggressive in different ways. I think there's, you know, he's brought a lot to that bowling attack. I think making them run in and be aggressive is fantastic. I think seeing India have a good reserve of quick bowlers now who are aggressive, I think is really encouraging. But I think just more his style. You know, I think I'm more of a fan of watching Rahane in Australia. I thought had a nice way about him. I think sometimes Kohli's aggression he almost captains through fear, in my opinion. And I think players like I said, Rahane, Pujara, Ashwin, I don't think will excel in that environment. Yeah, no, I do agree. I think Anderson's got his ways and his niggle. I think, look, it's not just Kohli. I'm not saying that, but I think his language is quite excessive. I don't think Anderson will do things in a different way. I think Kohli's way is to get very abusive and very, you know, he's got a good array of swear words that he uses. But I mean, it's not, you know, we don't want to throw stones and, you know, this player, that player, otherwise we get into a big argument. I mean, it's not a comparison necessarily, and I think you're right. You know, Indian players must give it back. You know, if that's not I'm not saying they shouldn't be aggressive. I think Jadeja's got that in him. I think that you do get a good mixture within the team. I just think I probably find that once Kohli's impact can take the team so far, but I think in terms of getting the best out of people and stuff, sometimes the best way is to it's not about sitting back either. I mean, you know, I think being aggressive, there's different ways of being aggressive. There's different ways of doing it. And I think Kohli could probably do it in a more intelligent way without having to have these, you know, abusive fights. Sometimes the best way is to say nothing and go and get 100, or, you know, be aggressive, be in your face, bowl quick. You know, bowl bounces. I don't have any issues with that. But it's just more the way that he tends to come across. I guess it's just something that you can see. No, I think we should let it go on. I think we need some theatre. We need some entertainment. You know, I think we need characters in the game. You know, I mean, Kohli is a character. Don't get me wrong. I think he brings a lot to cricket. I mean, I'm a real admirer of him as a player. You know, I think his leadership is sometimes he follows the ball a little bit. He's a little bit over emotional, but I think he has brought a lot to cricket. And I think, so, you know, I think that it's important that characters are brought in. You don't want the match referees stepping in every time someone says something, you know, otherwise the game just becomes over-governed. It becomes like a naughty school children in the playground, you know. We don't want that. These are adults, these are international professional cricketers. And I think a bit of needle, a bit of banter, you know, there's definitely a place to use that. I just think it needs to be done in the right way. I think it's, you know, Kohli's still got to realize that he is an inspiration to other young players and stuff. And I think using lots of over-the-top, foul-mouthed languages and, you know, I don't think is necessary, in my opinion. Well, I think, you know, Kohli's captaincy is very in your face. I think we can see the way that he does things. He gets on the front foot, and I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think Root in the other sense is is more subdued. I think captaincy is perhaps, he's had a lot of criticism in terms of his captaincy. I think he's taken some time to get into it, to work out how he wants to captain the team, how he wants to move forward. I think I think the difficulty with Joe Root is that I think the most important thing is that he's scoring a lot of runs for England. I think it's going to be tough. I think if you had to put money on it, I'd probably put money on India. I mean, now 1-0 up. It is 3 more Test matches to go, so it is a long way to go. I think where England are struggling is they're missing some players. I mean, we can sit here, we can criticise the opening batsman and the fact that people aren't supporting Root, but you are missing Wokes, you're missing Stokes. I mean, what he brings to the team in terms of aggression, I think that kind of combative personality. When you look at the way India are playing, you need some characters, you need some players that are going to come up like that. Joss Buttler's put his hand up in that aspect. He hasn't stood down, which is good. You've got Jimmy Anderson, who we know. But we're missing Jofra Archer, who's another big player. I think from a aggression point of view, you add Jofra, you add Wokes, you add Stokes. You've got a slightly different look to that England team. I think as it currently stands, I think India are slightly are ahead. There's no doubt. And I think having won that Test match at Lord's, they'll gain in confidence from that. I think the other positive for India is Pujara, Rahane and Kohli have looked out of form. Let's be honest. They look tentative. Kohli's dismissal against Curran is worrying. The ball was probably not hitting a third set of stumps and he's defending balls out there. So he'll be disappointed about that. But I think the time that Pujara spent in the middle and the innings that Rahane played under serious pressure is a positive for India, not necessarily for England. They would have preferred to have kept those 3 guys, out of form. But if those guys come back into form, I think it's very difficult. I think pound for pound, man for man, they've got a stronger batting unit. You add Rishabh Pant, who comes in and can change a game on his own. They're a very, very good team at the moment. A team that can't fit Ashwin in must be a very good side.